You're not in a bad relationship because you found the wrong person. You might be in a bad pattern because of the words you use every single day. Most couples don't end because of big betrayals. They end because of small erosions. A phrase here, a dismissal there. Words that seem harmless in the moment, but over months and years, they carve out something essential. Trust, safety, the feeling that your partner actually sees you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 phrases that are quietly destroying more relationships than cheating ever will. And for each one, I'll give you exactly what to say instead. Welcome to the Relationship Blueprint, where we break down the real psychology behind why relationships succeed or fail and give you tools you can actually use. Subscribe if you're new, because what we cover here is the stuff most people spend years in therapy figuring out. Let's get into it. Before we get to the phrases, here's something important to understand. In relationships, it's almost never what you say, it's what your partner hears. Words carry emotional weight that goes far beyond their dictionary meaning. When your partner says something that feels dismissive, your nervous system doesn't hear the words. It hears, "You don't matter to me." And once that message lands enough times, it becomes a belief. The 7 phrases we're about to cover all have one thing in common. They communicate something deeply damaging, usually without the speaker realizing it at all. So let's start with one of the most common. Phrase 1. You always do this. You never listen. Absolutist language. The scorched earth phrase always. Never. These 2 words feel like they're describing a pattern, but to your partner's nervous system, they land as a verdict, a character judgment. Not "this specific thing bothered me," but "this is who you fundamentally are." And here's the thing, they're almost never factually true. Your partner doesn't always do this. They don't never listen. What you mean is, "This keeps happening and I'm frustrated." But what they hear is, "You are broken and beyond fixing." Psychologist John Gottman, who has studied thousands of couples for decades, identifies this kind of absolutist language as one of the key predictors of relationship breakdown. Because the moment your partner hears always or never, they stop listening to your actual concern and start defending themselves. The conversation is over before it begins. Instead of, "You never make time for me. Try this. Lately I've been feeling like we're not connecting as much as I'd like. Can we talk about that?" Notice the difference. One closes a door, one opens one. Phrase 2. Fine, whatever. Contemptuous dismissal. The conversation killer. Fine, said in that tone. You know the one. It doesn't mean fine. It means, "I'm done trying to reach you. I'm shutting down." But instead of saying that, I'm handing you a word that makes it your problem to figure out what just happened. Whatever is even more dangerous, because whatever communicates contempt. And contempt, according to every major relationship researcher, is the single most corrosive force in a partnership. Contempt says, "I don't just disagree with you, I have no respect for your perspective at all." The reason couples use these phrases is usually not malice. It's emotional flooding. They've reached a point where they genuinely can't process anymore, so they shut down. The problem is, shutting down in this way doesn't pause the conflict. It escalates it. Because now your partner isn't just dealing with the original issue. They're dealing with feeling abandoned mid-conversation. Instead of "fine, whatever. Try this. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Can we take 20 minutes and come back to this?" That one sentence does something remarkable. It tells your partner you're not abandoning them. You're protecting the quality of the conversation. that's a completely different message. Phrase 3. You're too sensitive. Emotional invalidation. The gaslight phrase. This one does damage that can take years to undo. Because when you tell someone they're too sensitive, you're not just dismissing their reaction. You're telling them their inner experience is wrong, that they're feeling the wrong amount, that they need to adjust themselves to make you more comfortable. Over time, a person who hears this repeatedly stops sharing how they feel. They learn that their emotions are a burden. They learn to doubt their own perceptions. They become quieter, more withdrawn, and one day, often without even understanding why, they stop feeling safe with you. Here's the truth. There is no such thing as too sensitive. There's only someone who feels something deeply and needs it acknowledged. Your job as a partner isn't to manage how much they should feel. It's to make space for what they actually feel. Instead of, "You're too sensitive. Try this. I can see this really affected you. Help me understand what happened from your side." You don't have to agree with their reaction. You just have to make room for it. That's the difference between a partner and an opponent. Stepping aside for a moment. If you're watching this and recognizing patterns from your own relationship, either things you say or things that have been said to you, I want to mention something that's made a real difference for a lot of people. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, from anywhere, at a time that works for you. Couples therapy and individual therapy around relationship patterns is some of the most valuable work you can do. The link is in the description if you want to explore it. Okay, 4 more phrases to go, and they get heavier. Phrase 4. I don't care. Emotional withdrawal, the abandonment phrase. Sometimes I don't care is innocent. You genuinely have no preference about what restaurant to go to. Fine, but there's another version of I don't care, said during an argument, or when your partner is sharing something important to them. That version doesn't mean you have no preference. It means, I have withdrawn my emotional investment from this conversation. From you. Repeated often enough, I don't care becomes one of the loneliest phrases a person can hear from someone who's supposed to love them. Because love, fundamentally, is caring. It's being interested in your partner's inner world. When you signal, even casually, that their concerns don't matter to you, you're chipping away at the foundation of why they chose you. Instead of I don't care, try this. I'm not sure what I want right now, but your feelings about this definitely matter to me. Phrase 5. You're just like your mother. You're just like your father. Character assassination. The nuclear phrase. This one is a nuclear option, and people reach for it when they're in pain and want to cause equal pain as fast as possible. Comparing your partner to a parent they have a complicated relationship with, or criticizing their family directly, is one of the fastest ways to create a wound that doesn't heal cleanly. Why is it so damaging? Because it's not a complaint about a behavior, it's an attack on identity. It says, at your core, you are a version of someone you've been trying your whole life not to become. That lands somewhere deep. It bypasses logic entirely and hits the most primal sense of self. And the other reason this phrase is so destructive, it's almost impossible to respond to. What do you say to that? There's nowhere to go in the conversation. You've just detonated it. Instead of, you're just like your father. Try this. When you do X, I feel Y. I know that's not your intention, but that's my experience of it. Attack the behavior, never the bloodline. Phrase 6. If you really loved me, you would. Emotional coercion. The manipulation phrase. This phrase is manipulation dressed up as love, and the reason it works, and the reason people keep using it, is that it puts your partner in an impossible position. If they say no to your request, you've already framed it as evidence that they don't love you. Their only options are to comply or to feel guilty. It also does something subtler and more damaging. It redefines what love means. Love becomes compliance. Love becomes doing what I want, when I want it, because I said so. That's not love. That's control. And over time, a partner on the receiving end of this phrase stops feeling loved and starts feeling managed. The deeper issue underneath this phrase is usually vulnerability. What the person really wants to say is, "I'm scared you don't prioritize me. I need to feel like I matter to you." That's a completely legitimate need. But there's a world of difference between expressing vulnerability and using emotional leverage. Instead of, "If you really loved me, you would do this. Try this. I've been feeling like this isn't a priority for you, and that's been hurting me. Can we talk about it?" One invites connection. The other demands compliance. Your relationship can only grow in the first environment. Phrase 7. Calm down. Emotional dismissal. The gasoline phrase. Has anyone ever told you to calm down, and you actually calm down? No, of course not, because calm down doesn't address why you're upset. It just communicates that your level of emotion is inconvenient, and you need to adjust it for my comfort. When someone is emotionally activated, when their nervous system is running hot, what they need is to feel heard. Calm down does the exact opposite. It adds shame to the existing distress. Now they're upset, and they're being told they shouldn't be. That's a recipe for escalation, not resolution. The impulse behind calm down is usually not cruel. You're probably flooded yourself. You want the intensity to decrease. That's understandable. But the approach has to change. Instead of calm down, try this. I can see you're really upset. I'm not going anywhere. Take your time. I want to hear this. That response does something almost magical in a heated moment. It removes the pressure. And when pressure is removed, people actually do calm down. Not because they were told to, but because they feel safe enough to. Here's what I want you to notice about every single phrase we've covered today. Not one of them came from a place of not caring. Every single one comes from a person who is hurting, or overwhelmed, or scared, and doesn't have a better tool in that moment. "You always do this" comes from feeling unheard. "Fine, whatever" comes from emotional flooding. "You're too sensitive" comes from discomfort with conflict. "I don't care" comes from exhaustion or withdrawal. "You're just like your father" comes from pain that wants an equal target. "If you really loved me" comes from deep fear of not mattering. "Calm down" comes from being overwhelmed yourself. The goal isn't to never feel those things. It's to build the vocabulary for what's actually happening underneath them. Because the moment you can say what you actually feel, scared, unheard, exhausted, afraid, instead of what you think will win the argument, everything changes. Communication isn't about saying the right thing. It's about saying the true thing. And that takes practice. It takes humility. And honestly, for a lot of people, it takes some help. So, which of these 7 did you recognize? Be honest with yourself. Drop it in the comments. There's no judgment here. Recognizing the pattern is literally step 1. If this video helped you see something differently, share it. Send it to someone you're in a relationship with. The fact that you're watching content like this tells me you care about getting this right, and that already puts you ahead. Next week, we're going deep on why every conversation turns into a fight and how to finally stop it. You'll want to catch that one. Subscribe so you don't miss it. This is the Relationship Blueprint. Great relationships aren't luck, they're a skill, and every skill can be learned. See you next week.